The cage was too small for a human. Lena Carter sat with her knees pressed against her chest, her back against cold metal bars that vibrated with the hum of the ship. Every breath she took tasted wrong, like chemicals and something burned long ago. Around her, dozens of cages lined the cargo hold, some empty, some not. The ones that weren't were filled with people who no longer looked like people. A man in the corner stared at nothing, his lips moving without sound. A boy clutched the bars until his fingers turned pale, and across from Lena, a young girl cried quietly into her arms, trying not to be heard. That was the worst part. Not the fear, not the pain, the silence. The kind that comes when people stop believing anything is coming for them. Lena closed her eyes for a second. 3 days ago, she had a life, a small one, a normal one. Coffee in the morning, work, a tiny apartment with a broken window she kept meaning to fix. It wasn't much, but it was hers. Then the sky opened. No warning, no sound at first, just shadows falling over the city like something massive had blocked out the sun. By the time people started screaming, it was already over. The ships came down like hunters, precise, fast, merciless. And now she was here, a number, a product, something to be traded. A sharp metallic sound snapped her back to reality. One of the aliens passed by her cage, tall, thin, skin like polished stone, reflecting the dim red emergency lights. Its eyes glowed faint blue, scanning each cage as it moved. It didn't look at her like a person. It looked at her like inventory. Lena didn't move, didn't speak, didn't react. She had learned quickly. The ones who fought disappeared. The ones who begged disappeared faster. Only the quiet ones stayed. For now. The girl across from her let out a small, broken sob. Lena's gaze shifted. The girl couldn't be more than 16. Dirt streaked her face. Her hands trembled uncontrollably as she tried to wipe her tears away. She kept whispering something under her breath, over and over. Please, please, please. Lena swallowed hard. Something inside her chest tightened. Not fear. That had burned out already. This was something else, something colder, something sharper. She leaned forward slightly, her voice barely above a whisper. Hey. The girl flinched instantly, pressing herself back against the cage like Lena might hurt her. Lena stopped, waited, then, softer, You're not alone. The girl didn't answer, but she stopped whispering. That was enough, for now. A deep vibration rolled through the ship, low at first, then stronger. Lena's head lifted slowly. That wasn't normal. The guards noticed it too. Their movements changed, faster now, uneasy. Another tremor hit, harder this time. Dust shook loose from the ceiling. One of the overhead lights flickered violently before stabilizing into a dim red glow. The air shifted, like the entire ship was holding its breath. Then, boom! The sound ripped through the cargo hold like thunder. The cages rattled violently. The girl screamed. Somewhere in the darkness, someone started crying uncontrollably. The aliens shouted to each other, their voices sharp and rapid, not controlled anymore, not calm, panicked. Lena's heartbeat slowed, not faster, slower, because she knew that sound. She had heard it before. Not here, not like this, but she knew it. Another impact, closer, stronger. Metal groaned like it was about to tear apart. The guards raised their weapons toward the far wall, waiting, afraid. Lena slowly lifted her head. Her lips parted slightly,
and for the first time since she had been taken, there was something in her eyes again. Not fear, not hopelessness, something dangerous, something alive. She whispered it so quietly, no one else heard. "You shouldn't have come here." The third impact hit, and this time, something broke.
The third impact didn't shake the ship. It tore it open. Metal screamed as the outer hull split apart, jagged edges ripping inward like something had punched straight through from the outside. A violent rush of air blasted across the cargo hold, dragging loose debris and bodies against the cages. The girl across from Lena screamed. Someone in the darkness started praying. The lights flickered, then died for half a second. When they came back, everything was red. Emergency glow, blood-colored. The alien guards froze, not trained stillness, not discipline, fear. One of them slowly raised its weapon toward the breach in the wall. Its hands were shaking. Lena noticed that, and something inside her settled. Heavy footsteps echoed through the torn hull. Slow, measured, not rushing, not searching, walking, like whoever was coming already knew exactly where they were. A shape appeared through the smoke, tall, broad, covered in dark armor scarred with burn marks and impact dents. Not clean, not polished, used. The first alien fired. A sharp burst of plasma cut through the air, lighting the entire cargo hold in a flash of blue. It hit the figure directly in the chest. For a split second, everything went silent. Then the smoke cleared. He was still standing, not even pushed back, not even shaken, just there. The second alien hesitated. That hesitation cost it everything. 2 quick shots rang out, precise, controlled. The alien dropped before it even hit the ground properly. The third tried to run. It didn't make it past 3 steps. The sound of impact echoed once more. Then silence returned, but this time it felt different. He stepped fully into the cargo hold, boots heavy against the metal floor. Every step calm, every movement controlled. Not anger, not rage, something far worse. Complete certainty. Lena stared through the bars. Her breath slowed. Her heart didn't race, because deep down she already knew. Even before she saw his face clearly, even before he turned toward her, she knew. "Jack," she whispered. The name barely left her lips, but he heard it. He stopped, slowly turned his head, and looked straight at her. For a moment, everything else disappeared. No ship, no aliens, no cages, just that look. Cold, focused, and buried deep beneath it, something human, something he was holding back. He walked toward her cage, 1 step at a time. The metal beneath his boots echoed like a countdown. The remaining guards didn't move, didn't speak, didn't even breathe too loud, because now they understood. This wasn't a rescue, this was something else. He reached the cage, looked at the lock, didn't rush, didn't struggle, just placed one hand on the bars and pulled. The metal snapped, not bent, not forced, snapped like it had never mattered. The door tore free from its hinges and hit the ground with a heavy crash. The girl across from Lena gasped. Lena didn't move. For a second, she couldn't, because now he was standing right in front of her, closer than she expected, closer than she was ready for. He looked down at her, scanning, checking, making sure. "You hurt?" he asked. His voice was low, steady, controlled, but not cold, never cold. Lena shook her head slowly, tried to speak, but her voice failed her. Jack gave a small nod, like that was enough, like he didn't need words. Then he turned and looked at the rest of the cages. Dozens of them, humans, broken,
terrified, waiting. His jaw tightened slightly. That was the only sign, the only crack. Then it was gone, replaced again by something harder, something final. He tapped the side of his helmet. "Command." His voice shifted instantly, professional, sharp. "I've located the cargo." A pause. Static crackled through the comm. Then, "How many survivors?" Jack looked across the room, counted without counting. "Too many." Another pause. Then, "Orders?" For a brief second, Jack closed his eyes, just once, then opened them again, and whatever had been human in them before was gone. "Permission to proceed." Silence. Then one word came back. "Granted." Jack turned slightly, his voice quieter now, directed only to Lena. "Stay behind me." Because what was about to happen next was not rescue. It was something far worse.
The first alien through the door didn't even get to aim. The moment it crossed the threshold, it died. Jack didn't rush forward, didn't charge. He stepped once. That was enough. 2 precise shots, clean, effortless. The body dropped before the others even understood what happened. Then chaos erupted. More aliens flooded into the cargo hold, weapons raised, voices sharp with panic. They fired together. A storm of plasma lit the room, blue flashes tearing through the red emergency glow. Lena flinched, but Jack didn't move back, didn't take cover. He walked forward, straight into it. The blasts hit his armor again and again, burning, exploding, lighting him up like a target. But he kept coming. Step, 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 like nothing they did mattered. One alien hesitated. That hesitation cost it everything. Jack turned slightly, fired once, and the alien dropped instantly. Another tried to flank him. Jack didn't even look. He fired behind him. Perfect. Finished. The rest broke. Not tactically, not strategically. They broke like animals. Fear took over. Some tried to retreat, some fired wildly, some just froze. Lena watched it happen from behind him, and for the first time, she understood something. This wasn't a man fighting. This was something else, something controlled, something that had already decided how this would end. An alien screamed something in its language, a command, desperate, final. Then silence, because there was no one left to follow it. The cargo hold went still. Smoke hung heavy in the air. The red lights flickered weakly, and the only sound left was Jack's breathing, slow, steady, like none of it had cost him anything. He lowered his weapon, just slightly, then turned, back toward the cages, toward the people, toward her. The girl across from Lena was crying again, but now she wasn't trying to stay quiet. She wasn't afraid anymore. Lena stepped forward slowly. Her legs felt weak, unsteady, like her body didn't trust what was happening. Jack walked back to her, not fast, not dramatic, just there, like he had always been coming. "You're safe," he said. Simple words, but they hit harder than anything else. Lena swallowed. Her voice barely worked. "You came." Jack looked at her for a second, not long, just enough. "I said I would." That was it. No speech, no explanation, just truth. Behind them, one of the other cages rattled. A man inside pushed against the bars, desperate to get out.
Jack turned again, and this time there was no hesitation, no pause. He moved from cage to cage, breaking them open, one after another, metal tearing, locks snapping, people stepping out slowly, like they didn't believe the world had changed. Some cried, some just stood there, frozen. Lena watched them happen from behind him, and dozens of humans alive because of one man. Jack stopped in the center of the room, looked at all of them, then tapped his comm again. Cargo secured. A pause, then extraction inbound. Jack lowered his hand, then looked at Lena one last time. Let's go home. And for the first time since the sky had opened, since everything had been taken, since she had been turned into nothing, Lena felt something return. Not hope, not yet, something stronger, something real. She stepped forward and followed him, out of the cage, out of the darkness, and back toward something she thought she had lost forever.